First of all, thank you guys for being here. Just to kind of go over my background a little bit again, I have been working in the fashion business since I was 16 as a model. That was in 1996, so dating myself. And I decided I didn't like modeling. I was modeling here in New York, and then I ended up becoming a stylist for the Dallas Morning News at 17. So I started working a lot with the editorial and shooting once a week when I was really, really young. So I've kind of been in this world since I was a teenager, and a lot of that background. And then I actually took a small detour into beauty and ended up becoming the PR director for a company called Tony & Guy and TG, and launched a big product for them called Bedhead. So I have a little bit of marketing background, which I find is really, really important for a stylist. It's why I started doing the fashionista column. Like, it's part of building our identity as stylists, is building your identity in the marketplace and with mass market, and also just inside the business. Like, everyone reads stuff like Fashionista and some of the top blogs. So it's really important to kind of start building up like who you are so people know the background of you and all that kind of good stuff. And then, so I started producing fashion shows in New York in 2001 with KCD, and I became the fashion manager there. There I really got an expertise in runway. I got to work with the best stylists in the world. It was so much fun, like Katie Grand at Louis Vuitton, and I was working when Phoebe Philo just started doing Chloe, which was amazing. And Camille Bideau-Waddington was there, and then I worked with Lori Goldstein and then Brana Wolf on Versace. So I kind of got to work with a lot of the best stylists, period, in all sorts of different client environments. I worked on Sean John, which was like, the really fun, awesome celebrity experience, which we'll talk about tomorrow. And then, working with a very Italian house like Versace, and then working with someone like Helmut Lang in Paris, who is complete minimalist. So really learning from the complete range of creatives that are in our business, and also the different stylists who have different voices and ways of telling stories, working with all these different kinds of designers. So I was at KCD for a while, and then I got offered a job with Marie Amélie at French Vogue. And French Vogue was an amazing experience because I was working in the office with Corinne and with Emmanuel Alt, who's now going to be the editor-in-chief. And from then, I was just able to learn this quality of life that you can't learn anywhere else, I think, but in Paris. So, and working with Marie Amélie, who we were doing Estée Lauder campaigns, we were doing Balenciaga, we were doing everything. And also doing a lot of consulting for Gucci at the time. Really learning how to do research, really learning how to work with a magazine as a contributing editor and also handle a freelance styling career. So, and then from there I went to London and I became fashion editor at Pop, which was an incredible experience working with Katie Grand. There was only 4 of us on staff at the magazine, and it's a 300 to 500 page biannual. So I got to learn everything about how to place advertising. I shot 52 pages in the first issue that I worked there with them. So I got to learn how to do still life, which is not necessarily the most exciting, but you learn a lot about how to be an incredible editor. And then eventually with Katie, started doing covers for her. So I kind of ran the gamut from doing everything from like tiny little front of book things, which you need to start, to doing like the over-the-top covers with Sylvie Sansbo and Martin Marcus and all that kind of good stuff. So I moved back to New York in 2007 because I started working for the US Vogue in London and shooting for them, doing like a lot of portraiture and a lot of stuff for them for their front of book. And Ivan was like, oh, okay. So, if you want to work for us in New York, you can. And I was like, yes, please. So American Vogue had always been one of my dreams. Kind of being able to check off the boxes of Pop and, now it's Love, but doing Pop and French Vogue and then American Vogue. I moved back here to work with them and really start to build my American clientele, because Europe it's very competitive for the money, and America has so much more of a high commercial clientele and a lot of Europeans come here to shoot because the dollar is so weak. But yeah, so I've been here since 2007, living between New York and LA, and working with different clients here. I work with a lot of European clients who are based in America, who just want to work and build their kind of brands here, people like Victoria Beckham and things like that. So yeah, so that's my background. So over the next couple days, we're going to be in conversations about what constitutes a stylist, what our concerns are as stylists, the processes that we go through with our clients on each of the different kind of jobs, and really talk about it we're not going to do tips and techniques. We're not going to, I mean, we'll go a little bit over technique when we go through the jobs, but we're not going to like, I feel like with styling, you can't really teach someone how to put a shoe with a dress, or you can't teach creativity, you know, in a lot of senses, but what we're going to talk about is how to build your creativity, and how, you know, where to start looking at what stories that you are into, and what, you know, what things in fashion that you love, so you can start to build your individual styling voice. That's how you get jobs, that's how you get your clients, that's how you build everything. So it's going to be a lot about strategy and about like the thinking and acting around styling, and not necessarily like first you do this and then you do this and then you do that. So it's more about getting kind of a new background or orientation around what we do as stylists. Any questions about that? No? Easy? Yeah, yeah.
Will you tell us, for example, if I have a specific voice and how to choose the clients?
Yeah.
To build your...
Yeah, we'll go through that, for sure. Anything else? No? Okay, you guys are so easy so far. And then we're going to talk a lot also about teams and relationships. And other than your voice and your being able to create your voice and then work on your ability to storytell, one of the major things we do is build teams and build relationships. Like, it's everything to what we do. As stylists, we can't do anything by ourselves. Like, everything requires a team. Everything requires like a very huge team. So from a runway show to an image to even just a consultancy requires a really amazing research team and also that kind of stuff. So we'll talk a lot about teams and those kind of, and building those relationships and the different relationships that are really important to build. So the reason I created this course is because I've been working with my own assistants and then, you know, with other stylists and their teams for over 10 years now. And I started to see, like, even when I was assisting and working with Maria Amelie and Katie, there's just no training. Like, there's nothing. They like throw you in and you either figure it out or you don't. Right? And then it's like, and you're kicked to the curb or you get to stay. And it's, you know, to me, it just became crazy. And then I was also talking to a lot of my interns who were in school and taking fashion styling courses. And I found that what they were learning was like 1980s like movie wardrobe or like costuming. I mean, am I right? I don't know, right? Have you guys taken any of those courses?
Not particularly like styling, but when I went to when I was in college for fashion merchandising, like fashion, any fashion class,
Yeah.
basically about that.
Yeah, like wardrobe, because we're not wardrobe stylists. Do I bring clothes to a shoot? Absolutely. But what I'm doing is not just putting clothes on a person. It's like we're doing strategies for how people look so they can achieve certain things in their businesses. So, you know, it's a lot more than just wardrobe styling. So I just kind of became like, okay, how, and that's why I created this weekend. And, you know, we're doing the video, so I have something to work with my interns and assistants, and also with other stylists who, you know, I've seen so many people, it's like we struggle with these breakdowns because no one is teaching the strategy and the relationships to build and the processes that we go through. So I mean, just kind of seeing and the question, and also when I'm working with my assistants and interns, I don't get, and even, you know, when I'm working with other stylists with magazines, I don't get the chance to talk to them about how we are running our businesses and the processes that we do and the strategies that we, you know, how we work with our strategies and how we work with our clients. So I created this weekend to be able to talk to you guys about that and kind of go back and forth. And, you know, there's people in the room who are in all different parts of their careers. There are people who are now stepping out into their own practice. You know, Alexandra's had a practice for a while on her own, you know, so, and there's people in here who are, you know, interning with me. So it's a mix of people, you know, and I just wanted to be in conversation with you guys about the processes and the strategies and the relationships we work with. And for me too, it was like, I've learned so much about my own practice and how to move even more powerfully with my clients from just writing this. So it's been really, really, it's going to be really fun. I mean, are there any breakdowns that you guys have experienced with, you know, for you guys who've been interning or assisting or styling that you're continually going up against that you haven't been able to talk to anybody about? I mean, does that resonate with anybody? Angelo?
A lack of a resource to find assistants and interns.
Right.
Like when
a resource?
Jobs, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. Like you can go on Craigslist and like pray that somebody responds the same.
Pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
You really, like, it's more of like a Facebook thing now where you're just like asking friends, like, oh,
Relationships.
yeah.
Relationships. And to speak to that too, it's so much about making relationships with your generation as a stylist and then supporting each other and helping each other out. You know, it's like Katie, so, you know, I was still assisting Katie even when I was fashion editor and moving into senior fashion editor there, because she had done so much for me. I was like, of course I'll go and assist you. Like whatever I can do to take care of her, you know? And so it is, you know, finding good help isn't easy though. I'll say that for sure. Yeah, so, and as stylists, we are CEOs of our own business. And a lot of people, we'll get into that in the next talk, but you know, a lot of people don't treat it, and a lot of stylists I meet who are not very powerful don't treat their styling practice like they're the CEO of their own business. And we really are. I mean, you know, you own an LLC, you know, you need an amazing accountant, and we'll go over that later, but you need a great lawyer, you know, you need a great agent, they're like your business partner. And so it always kind of shocks me, like, oh yeah, I'm just an artist. It's like, no. We're also, our clients, when you get to a certain level, your clients are CEOs of $100 million companies. You know, they just don't want some cute little, you know, stylist person in there. They want someone who can really strategically think and act with them. And we have to be able to do that, and we do it through the images we create, but you know, you still have to be able to have that strategy and everything. So I just hadn't found, you know, I wanted to create this because I hadn't found that anywhere for myself. And I had to really, I ended up going to business school. And I'm still in a continuing education business school because I'm like, I have to know this. I have to know how to run my business, and otherwise, you know, you can lose so much money. And you know, at the end of the day, this is about being really successful and creating your identity, and also being able to support yourself and have a great career. So that's why I created it. Let's see, got all of that. So what we're doing this weekend is we're creating a background. It's a different background of thinking around kind of the philosophies of styling. And yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to think about how to explain it. So everything that you know about fashion is what you act from. Does that make sense? So what you already know about styling, whether it's your experience or what you've read, like that's how you choose to act in your process. When you're working with another stylist or when you're styling on your own with a new client. And what I want to do this weekend is really talk about and kind of build your background on how to act with people and how to act with your career and strategize for your career. So just building a lot of backgrounds. And then we're going to be talking a lot about the operating principles, the ethics, the strategies, those kinds of things that really define stylists. Yeah. And then we'll talk a little bit about techniques, the particular process or workflow about carrying out you guys saw it on the syllabus, but we're going to really be diving into editorial, commercial, runway, consultancy, and celebrity. And from what I've seen, those are the processes that we all have to do. And if you want to get to the high fashion stylist level, all of those things you have to be masters at. So that's where we're really going to talk about technique. Okay. So when stylists don't have the background of all the stuff we're talking about this weekend, all they can do is mimic what they've learned from the people they've assisted, or like what they can see on TV. And I don't know if you guys have seen any of the stylists' TV shows, but they're nothing like what it really is like. So it's so the whole purpose of building the background is so you guys can move more powerfully in your own careers and be able to understand how you want to work and what voice you want to create, what story you want to tell, and what clients you want to attract, and how much money you want to make, and instead of having to just mimic what you can find around you. So that's the whole point, you know, the whole purpose that I designed it where we're talking about background and operating principles and techniques, so you guys can actually learn how to think for yourselves with it and not just mimic other stylists, which I feel like is because there's no training for anyone to learn, it's like that's what most people do. So that was the kind of purpose for designing it that way. And then, so, you know, and we talked about why I created it. I'm also going to start working on new curriculums and really kind of getting into the tips and techniques so people can have like an in-depth 60-page paper just on runway or just on research or any of those kind of important things. So my purpose this weekend is to really learn from you guys, like what do you guys want to know? You know, like what are the questions? What are the major questions? What's, you know, what information's not out there? So as much as you guys want to give back on that, I'm so happy to do. And also the purpose I had for creating it for you guys, the purpose of you guys to take it is to be able to charge more money when you're working, to be able to charge more money as an assistant, and to be able to charge more money as a stylist. And everything we're talking about, this isn't for assistants. This is for stylists. But when you're assisting a stylist, you're sourcing it for them. You know, and you need it to work for them and be powerful for them. You need to know this background because in other ways you're just completing tasks, and you're just learning the tips and techniques, which isn't going to have you have your own career. So my real purpose was it was like, okay, well, this will really help you guys learn how to make and also be able to charge way more money. So you know, at the end of the day, that's what. And also, you know, build the career you want. And a lot of people aren't. I mean, I haven't found anybody else talking about stylist careers like that. So. That was my purpose for that. So any questions about any of that? Clear? Yeah?
Just for what you're doing about the money, are you doing more about like a stylist or more of an assistant?
Both. Because assistants get different rates.
Right.
Yeah.
I never really like have a voice to say, well, this is my assistant. Or usually I just get whatever is given, whatever the client is willing to pay.
Yeah, as you become, well, and you'd be surprised how many stylists are getting certain rates and you're getting a discounted version of that. So what happens is, when I have, like, Angelo is an amazing person who I'm lucky enough to have him assist me when I need someone to help me on a big job. And you know, it's like I pay him his rate he asked for because he's worth it. Because I don't want one of the other assistants who sometimes I call and they might be cheaper, they might be $150 a day, but they lose things, they steal things, things get returned in like horrible condition. They can't handle a budget, yeah. And you know, the really good stylists, which are the people that you'll be, if you're in the assistant world and looking to assist, you want to find the stylists who are going to value you. It's so important, and it's not easy, and they're not common. And you really have to go after who you have to find, like, oh, okay, this person, I love their voice, I love their work, I love the magazine they work for, but holy crap, like, and then you just have to stalk them. Stalk their agent, stalk their assistant, but it works. I mean, that's what I did. You know, it's like I totally, you know, Maria Amalia is like, like I love you, whatever you want, I'll do it. You know, and then we created an amazing relationship, and I learned so much. And I did the same with Katie Grand, you know, and it's so important. And that's a lot of advice I give to people who are assisting, and you know, it's like don't assist just anyone. Find the best people you can possibly get access to, because we want good help. We're constantly looking for other, you know, assistants, because Angelo is wanted. You know, and you assist quite a few people, so he's not always going to be available. So I want other great assistants to work with, and you know, it's like another reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to give this video to people that assist me, because I can't have these conversations with them while we're assisting. We can't have it on set. But yeah, and then when you get to the good stylists, they will pay. They'll pay you the good rates. And it's important, you know, it's because, I mean, I lived in the city and was getting paid nothing, you know, $150 a day. It's like, and it's like I'm supposed to pay my rent, how? You know, but you hustle and you make it happen. And as you start to work from these backgrounds and these strategies and talk to, and even just asking a stylist or assisting, like, oh, so what's our strategy? They're gonna be like, what? And they're gonna want you around. Because you'll be able to help them make their life easier, better, and like fulfill with their client so much better that they can charge more money, and so they'll give you more money. Yeah, does that resonate? Okay, cool. Anything else? Yeah.
This might be like a little bit specific, but do you think as an assistant, like we should have, or I or whoever should have, like a website or anything?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think it's good to show people your aesthetic. I think it's good to show people.
Do we include like our like, we do test shoots? Do we include that? Obviously, it's their own, but say stuff that we assist.
Yeah, you
bigger
can,
stuff
for
that we-
sure. As long as it's clearly marked that you assisted,
Okay.
it's all good. People want to see. People care.
I just want to, I don't know, you can like.
I mean, you as long as it's clearly marked that you were the assistant, people don't have problems with that.
My friend Michaela is also like me, like she assists and she also styles on her own, but she has like a section for assisting and it'll say like assistant to whomever on the editorial or whatever job it was. And then she has her own work, and then even if you don't have like a lot of work, I feel like you could just start a blog and just have like, oh, this is a test I did.
A WordPress, yeah.
Yeah, like and then just images that you like, and then just that strike your fancy.
And I think that you should have, let's say you're going to assist other people or just for yourself when you are talking to people, you should have that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the more marketing, even as a stylist, websites are so important now. My web book is seen far more than my real book. My hard book that costs $1 gajillion, and it's 2,000 pounds to lug around, and I hate taking it out. I'm like, can you just look on the internet? Come on, like this is 2011. But it's so important, and find a cool team to work with, and we'll get into this too. It's like find a cool team of an art director that's your generation that you really like, and have them do some cool design around it. Like show your voice, show your aesthetic, everything. If it's an assistant book, or if it's or like my book, I'm working on a website right now with this really cool art director I found who works a lot with V. And I'm so excited because I can start marketing directly and I don't have to rely on my agency I mean the agency book is beautiful and the agency website's beautiful, but I want to be able to have my own identity too. And it's really important because that's the agency's voice, and I want to be able to show my voice. And that's what people look for, and building voice takes a really long time to figure out like, okay, this is my thing, this is what I do. But, as you start to work on it, yep, Seika? Yeah, we're totally gonna talk about that. Yeah. Which talk is that in? We'll talk about it a little bit today, we'll talk about it a lot tomorrow when we talk about teams. Because your agent is huge. It's your business partner. It's your unspoken business partner. They take 20%, but which is, it's worth it, for what they do. Alexander, did you have an agent? No. Well, I know that because that area is like hard for good people.
But that area, I don't need to get more clients.
Yeah.
I'm actually limiting the
Right.
people I'm taking.
Right. Yeah, and New York agents are the best. They're the best in the world, bar none. And my agent here handles the whole world. He's global. Yeah. Yeah, it's so important because they're, and I wrote something about this in Fashionista, and they're not our babysitters. They're our strategists with us. They're our sales strategists. They're a sales team. It's like, because people are like, oh, how do you set up? It's like, for the business organization, which we'll talk about tomorrow, your agent is running your entire revenue stream. And there are so many things you have to look for with your agent too. You have to make sure that their accounting department's on top of it. You have to make sure that they're on top of your cash flow and everything like that. But it's also about finding someone that you really trust with your career, because that's what's going on. And I had to we'll talk about this tomorrow because I can go on a whole tangent. I'll move on. Okay, great, we got through that. Okay, so I just have a quick request, and I've pretty much spoken to all you guys about this already. In here, and you guys are already being great about conversations and stuff like this. I'm not TV, I'm gonna be on TV, but so please don't listen like you're gonna take a test and then answer a test and that's it. This isn't school. This is really about you guys learning what you need for your lives and for your careers to be stylists. So ask questions, take the notes, please feel free to speak up because it helps me figure out where you guys are and how to help you more based on the conversations that we're having. So yeah, it's as much as you guys can interact, that's awesome. And then what else? Yeah, just moods of engagement, learning, and enthusiasm. I'm always super enthusiastic. So everybody's cool with that, yeah?